Hello everyone and welcome to my island. Today I'll be showing y'all around my very first Animal Crossing island that I finally finished. It only took about 705 hours and the end of the Switch's lifespan. This is my forever island and I like to describe it as a multi-themed towncore aesthetic. I wanted to include a lot of different areas and use as many different furniture items that I could because it's my forever and only island. I wanted to make sure this island had everything I could ever possibly want. I started this island in 2022 and it's been through a lot of changes until I finally felt happy with the finished product. And this has been bothering me, so I want to mention that in my first video on this channel where I decorate the entrance, I said I've had this island since 2020, but I didn't actually get this game until 2022. I got confused because so many people refer to their first island as their 2020 island. Those terms kind of became interchangeable, but I didn't get to experience the joy of playing this during quarantine with everyone else. Anyway, let's get started with the tour. Stay tuned until the end to see some footage of my island at night. First things first, I want to show y'all the map. As you can see, this island is very structured. I wanted to keep things walkable, accessible, and playable. We also got a whole bunch of cuties living here, starting with me, Coco, Stitches, Judy, Molly, Mary, Chelsea, Daisy, Punchy, Bill, and Hamlet. Starting at the airport, we are immediately greeted by the centerpiece of the plaza. So I try to keep this area elegant core. You can see by the wedding items, the gold, the pink, the white. I've also customized these street lamps to have these cute little gold ribbons on them, which I think are so beautiful. And if you can tell, my airport and resident services are perfectly aligned and the distance between them is quite short. So it was kind of a struggle to figure out how to design this, not necessarily because of the symmetry, but because the distance is so short. But just having the centerpiece and forcing people to walk around this diamond shape just creates an illusion of a bit more distance than there really is. If you were to dream to my island, you would wake up right here in resident services, and I put out a bunch of gifts here for y'all. These white ones may be an outfit, so you can look cute while touring, and it may just be the same exact outfit I'm wearing right now, so we can be twins. There are also some other gifts scattered throughout my island, but I'll point those out if we see them so you don't miss it if you come. Let's start with the left side actually and see this other centerpiece I have, or side piece actually, I guess is more appropriate. So I used the fountain item as the main focal point and just some beautiful items around it. I especially love these topiaries and party light arch. You're gonna see these used a lot throughout my whole island, and that took so many Nook miles to get all of those. On the other side, it's exactly the same. I try to keep my plaza pretty symmetrical. So we have the same exact arrangement of items, except this area is a bit bigger, so I got to fit in a couple more items like this cute little bird cage and this grand piano. This is kind of like when you see at the mall or the hospital or some other public spaces, sometimes there will be a piano and usually it's like whoever wants to can just go up to it and play whatever, whenever. So that's kind of what that's for. If we go over here in this right hand corner, I have a farmer's market, so you can buy your fresh fruit and veggies and produce over here. I also incorporated these plaza duck stands here, so you can play this little shooting game as well. You're also able to hop over these stepping stones that just have flowers on them, but there's nothing really to see over here. This also leads to this bridge which goes over this river mouth, but we will go over here later, and for now, let's go down here. I have these yellow pergolas and this shell bed that's turned backwards to transition to this lower beach down here. So I have a kiddie pool here, so if you can't swim, you can just hop in here and splash around. And for the rest of this beach, it's just typical beach items, you know, these beach chairs, some coconut juice, palm trees. Of course, you have to have a yacht, but that's pretty much it for here. Let's go back up through the pergola, and over here, This is right by the airport. I have more of the Iron Garden furniture, and this pom-pom pudding pudding is so cute, and it's symmetrical with the other side. So same exact layout over here, except I have the Berliner here instead of the pudding. This is really, really pretty. This is like top tier food item in Animal Crossing, I would say. And let's actually look up here now. So over here, very simple, just a swinging bench. But then if you sneak past back here, next to this river, I have a fishing area. So you can catch some fish in this river, and then you can see the fresh fish here and the dried ones. And a little spoiler, but up there you can see a plate of fish and chips, and I like to think that that's made using the fish that we catch at this river. Now let's head on down again. On the left here we have a little flower shop. So that flower truck over there delivers the fresh flowers over here, and then we turn them into bouquets or flower stands, and you're able to purchase them for any celebratory reasons you may need them for. And if you move further along, I don't know what to call this area, but I figured since it's close to the airport, you might want to use a public phone to call and let people know back home that you got here safely. So I also included the suitcase to match that vibe. There's also a place you can park your bike over here, except you can't park your bike here since it's full. Now let's go down here, and I especially love the arrangement of items I have over here, so let's get a better look. I love the way these topiaries are going diagonal, and just the combination of all these items, the flowers, the bushes, the lights. I just think everything came together super nicely. If we go further over here, we have some Bunny Day items, and I know a lot of people hate Bunny Day, and I'm not the biggest fan either, but some of the Bunny Day items admittedly are very pretty. You can't deny that, like these bunny topiaries, and these chocolates are also so cute. And I've customized these street lamps to have these cute little bears on them. Why they keep disappearing? These have these cute little bears. There we go. And if you go down from this gazebo, we have entered this main beach. I only call it the main beach because this is like the largest, longest horizontal strip of continual beach that we have on my island. And because it's right next to the airport, I figure this is the touristy beach. And the other beaches can be more of like the hidden local gems, but because this is the main beach, we have most of the typical beach amenities here, like the changing room, like the lifeguard, like these hand washing stations, and then just other cute little decor for the vibes, like these cute little ducks here just congregating amongst themselves. Of course, we have bubbles and just more beach chairs, a body, and just some shell items, and just generally cute beachy things. Now let's exit through this gazebo and cross this bridge, which is also at my other southern river mouth. It was quite annoying to have two southern river mouths. It's not something I really thought would be a problem when I started this island and I picked this map. I was just excited that I had a symmetrical, centered resident services and airport, but the southern river mouths really gave me a lot of trouble, but I think I figured out a way to make it look as nice as I could. So we go over here, and this is just a little transitional area. It's just here to connect my plaza with the museum over here. But I made use of this extra piece of grass here to put a rainbow flower garden. It's too small to be a field, but I do still love it. So it starts with a fake tulip surprise box and this Kuropi bridge, which is part of the red gradient, and it goes down into pink. And I just really love how it came out. So cute and pretty. And let's actually go down here first and look at these beaches. So this one is pretty small, just, typical beach towels, sandcastle, chips, And then down here is one of my favorite beaches I made. This is the surf shop rental, general beach gear rental shop. Basically, you can just come here, rent whatever gear you may need, and we just go by the trust system. So just take what you need and we'll trust that you'll bring it back when you're done. I also love the froggy chair and the orange juice. I feel like it adds a really nice needed pop of color. Now let's go back up and go to the museum. And now here we are at the museum. Very basic design choice. I chose to do another fountain as the centerpiece, but this time it's the park fountain, so it has the cute little sea otters right there in the middle. Over to the right, I have a cafe. So this is kind of like an extension of Brewster's Cafe, except I kept the color scheme very pretty and cute with just the pink and the white. And I love the way it came together. And I've extended the museum to be a library with these bookshelves and storefronts, because who doesn't love a good cafe and library combo? You can have a book and have a cup of coffee at the same time. And I also felt like it was very fitting since the museum is like a learning and research type of center. So having a place where you can just get books and learn even further seemed very appropriate. Now if we go up here, you can slowly start to see it transitions to a different area, as you can see by the bamboo on the side and the pops of pink from the cherry blossoms. We have reached a Zen area, so let's go over here first. I've included a little Easter egg. You can see those little zodiac dragon and horse here. That's actually my boyfriend and I's zodiac animals, so thought that'd be very cute to include. And of course, just a bunch of other bamboo furniture items that leads up to this incline. And here we are at the Zen Garden. Zen Garden, panda exhibit, bamboo forest. I just put as many pandas as possible while still being able to walk around comfortably. These two are making mochi together. There's Tom Nook's ancestor. I love a good outdoor bath. And if you come down here, you can have a fine dining experience where you get to eat some expensive food amongst the pandas. Let's head on back down. And up here is a continuation of the Zen area. First, you can get a fortune from the bamboo grass. So let's see. Grant me the willpower to continue cohabitating with bugs. Okay, not my favorite fortune, but it is what it is. So over here, I blocked off the back of these cliffs with these kuropi hallways just to provide a bit of a border and separation with the farm. Even though you can still see it pretty clearly, it does provide a bit of separation. And I love the viewpoint you get on this golden arched Zen bridge. The river and the waterfall also provides more separation, and it just looks so good. I love the way it all came together here. And same thing here with the kuropi hallways, but ooh, look, another present for y'all right here. You can also sit here and just enjoy a nice relaxing cup of tea. And there's a ladder to go up here, but there's not much up here. This is mainly just a viewpoint, because if you get your camera and just angle it like this, this is such a good view. Wow. You can also hit this gong. Alright, so now let's go back down, and I'm gonna take a quick detour back to the beach. Let's sneak past this wheat field. So basically, I just had a whole bunch of lily of the valley spawn on my island, and I didn't know what to do with them. I didn't want to sell them, I didn't want to throw them away, and I didn't have a build where I could incorporate this many lily of the valleys. So I just thought I'd put them on the beach since I didn't have like a whole bunch of beach ideas anyway. And you can actually run through these and they won't break, which is really great. So we have one more section of lily of the valleys here. And then on this beach rock, it's a spa for one. And then you go up here and it's a little volleyball area. Of course, you gotta have this on the beach. And a tape deck over here is playing KK Bubblegum. I know you can't hear it right now, but I know everyone knows what KK Bubblegum sounds like. And what better song to play volleyball to? We go back here. This beach rock, it serves as both a stargazing area and UFO sighting area. So you can see the little bunny over there looking at the stars and also seeing if I can find some UFO. So this one is just a fake UFO. It's there as bait to try to lure in the real UFOs. And there's also some tents in case you want to camp overnight to try to sight something. And most importantly, we have a camera because anytime there's an inexplicable phenomena caught on camera, it's always the blurriest, grainiest footage that looks like it was taken on a toaster. So I included a camera, so if you see something, you gotta capture it in HD. I want to take a minute to point out my island edges. So because my cliffs are so rectangular and straight, it leaves very little space on the edge here, and it's not enough to put any items or a full build. Just like bushes, flowers, little items, and codes. The combination of decorations I used turned out so good looking. There's a star over here to tie in with the space area, and I love the glowing moss here. I just think it turned out very pretty. And now let's go up this vine to the farm. There's also this adorable duck goose code right here. Careful not to step on it though. But we can just easily climb up using this vine. Like I said, everywhere on my island is accessible, no need for a ladder or vaulting pole for anything. But now we are at the farm, and here's another little present. And here is my farm. So I have one of every crop neatly organized. I have all the crops except for the white pumpkins, which I tried to grow, but they just wouldn't spawn. I guess the soil and growing conditions on my island aren't ideal for white pumpkins, but that's okay. This pumpkin right here is actually a spooky lantern that's turned around, and if it's facing backwards, it just looks like one big pumpkin, which is kind of cool. Just very typical farm items here, and I incorporated a lot of peach trees because that's my native fruit, so I wanted a lot of those. And here's a clay furnace, so the thought is you can pick your produce and go over here and whip up something good with them. And I also included a storage shed for convenience, but I think it also looks good with all the farm items as well. Going to the right of the farm, here is my rock garden. This took so long to make, but I'm really happy with the final outcome of it. The decoration around it is pretty simple, just some bushes, and I put Stonehenge in the middle. But even though it's simply decorated, just having a rock garden in general is pretty impressive because it is very hard to make. At least for me it was. Maybe some pros out there will find it easy, but I certainly did not. So love it. Love that I finally was able to do this. Never thought I could have a rock garden, but alas, I made one. Now let's exit this farm through these lights, and we have entered the fruit orchard. It's not a typical orchard where all the fruit trees are lined up in perfect neat rows, but this area includes at least one of every fruit tree. There's also a cute little picnic here, and this is one of my favorite areas in this entire island. I love it. We go back here, there's actually a ladder, and I know you can't really see it that well, but I put a ladder item right here to kind of be an indicator that you can climb up here. And when you go up here, it's just a whole bunch of blue roses. This is my blue rose farm. I have so many of them. You can't satisfyingly run through these like the lily of the valley because these will break, but this area is super nice, and usually there's a lot of bugs up here because there's so many flowers. Not too many right now, but usually there are, and it just continues all the way up until that other cliff as well. And I could have decorated it and put some pretty items, but something simple like this also looks really cool, I think, and it's kind of a flex. If we head back down and go over here, I did want to just point out the little details because I really love the karopi boots on that log stool right there, and the fishing pole to fish out of this little pond. And on the other side, there's actually a bean tossing kit, which I know can't really see that either, but you can use this to feed the ducks or the fish. And then over here we have Molly's house. I love her little log cabin. It fits so perfectly with this area. And she is neighbors with Bill, which is the other duck on this island. And these two ducks together watch over the farm and the orchard. And I just like that they're both in log cabins. So now let's go over here. And this sunken incline will lead to the secret beach, which is just surrounded by a bunch of cliffs and paths. So let's walk on over there. And I have satisfyingly put these Mario coins to run through. I know everyone loves doing this. It's so satisfying. And you can see the party lights line up perfectly with the entrance to Red's boat. So on the other side of the secret beach, we have the campsite, and right here are just 2 pergolas. There's not much purpose to this. Sometimes you just need pointless random items to act as filler to connect 2 different spaces. So that's what that's for. So now let's go up to the campsite. And I wanted to keep this area very natural and woodsy like a typical campsite would. So we have a log stool and these worn boots and a bunch of dirt pathing. And I also included this other little tent in case you're camping with a bestie, but you're not close enough to sleep in the same tent, so you can make them sleep in this little one right here. I especially love this area right here with the peekaboo squirrels. I think it came out so good and the illusion works really well. Similarly, up here I have the same peekaboo situation, except this one is Winnie the Pooh. And of course, I had to include a DIY table just for convenience. If you scan in an Amiibo camper, they're gonna ask you to DIY them some items, so just having it right there will make it very easy. If we go back down over here, you can see the area leading up to the campsite, and I really love this item, this campsite sign item that you get from Pocket Camp. I love the combination of flowers and bushes that I used. I think the colors and everything just work really nice together. And other than that, it's pretty simple. Sometimes you just gotta have a simple area, a transition between 2 areas, and a lot of items here would just make it cluttered, and I wanted to be able to walk through this easily. And now we made it over here, and if we go through this gazebo, we have entered my house and my yard. So as the island representative who's done everything for this whole island, I think I deserve having a big house and this whole plot of land to myself. So over here is my own personal pool. I love this pool deck code, and I also have these poolside beds to enjoy my little iced tea. Behind my house, I have these pergolas, and on the left side is just a garden, and here is my dog. I have my 2 cars parked out here too. I don't even drive in real life, but of course I have 2 cars in the game. It just makes sense. And now the inside of my house is fully decorated, so let's take a look at that. Don't worry if you don't like interiors, I'm not the biggest fan either. I'm also not that good at decorating interiors, so we're just gonna do a very quick overview of each room. The first room when you enter is the living room. Next, let's go up here, and this is the guest bedroom. On the left, we have the kitchen. On the right is the bathroom. Upstairs is my bedroom. And downstairs, we have the basement. Alright, so that was it for my house. Now let's go back through this gazebo, and over to the right, there's not much, just this pathing and some natural flowers and bushes over here. And this is symmetrical with the other side. Same exact pattern of flowers and bushes over here. And we have a double bridge situation on this short little river canal. And you can cross either bridge and you'll enter this villager neighborhood. I love the train set here, and I plan to switch this out seasonally. So right now we're in spring, so it's the spring train set. But here is the villager neighborhood. This is a 4-house neighborhood, Do I have too many fountains on my island? Maybe. But I like the way these houses look together. I didn't want to modify any villager exterior or interiors because I already dictated everything else about this island, so I thought my villagers should get at least a little bit of free will to choose what their own homes will look like. So I had to choose villagers that I liked, but also villagers whose houses looked good together. So everyone here, their houses are beige, cream, off-white, with pops of pink and blue. So I think they work pretty nice together. So over here is Mary and Punchy, the two cats. Of course, they have their cat towers outside. And then down here, this house is Chelsea, the My Melody Sanrio villager. And this one is Daisy. Over to the right here, we just have the simple iron garden furniture. And if you go all the way down here, there's a vine that will lead you to the peninsula, but we'll go there later. And over here, this vine will lead up to this small gold extracting area. So you can pick these gold roses to get some gold, and you can turn it into gold nuggets or these golden animal figurines. And down here, just simple but pretty custom codes and flowers. And down there, that's Coco's house, but we'll see that later. Let's go back around here. And over here, we have a soccer field. So the villagers don't actually use this because they can't do this shimmy sneaking past move, but it's nice to have. You can also just watch the game as well. Squeeze past here, and this gazebo will lead you to the shopping district. So this is kind of like the transition from the neighborhood to the shopping district. And up here, of course, we have some gas pumps so you can fill up your electric scooters. And down here on the other side, we have some billiards tables, some springy ride-ons, just to have some fun things for the community to do. Up here, we have the only two shops in the game, so Nook's Cranny and Able Sister. But I've extended Able Sisters to have an arcade and an extension of the clothing area. And here is an extension of Nook's Cranny. Of course, you have to have an ATM at the shopping district and some cardboard boxes. I love this item. This is from Pocket Camp. It's like a gambling machine, and you can actually use it and try to get 3 of the same in a row. There you go. And some vending machines in the trash can because we don't litter over here. And I especially love these telescopes because, as you can see on the other side of this waterfall is actually the panda exhibit that we saw earlier. So I like the idea of using these telescopes to view the pandas if you're at the shopping district and want to get a closer look at them. This fortune cookie cart is also one of my favorite items in the game. Again, it's from Pocket Camp. And then here, just iron garden tables and chairs with random food and game items. And here I included a little cotton candy machine and this Nook ink balloon. And you can go down here, there's a double incline that just leads to the back of resident services. Not much to see. And I can't forget, let's go up here. And this is going to be another villager neighborhood. So first, I love the doghouse with this Arfoid. If you're using too many puppy plushies on your island, like I kind of use a lot everywhere else, so just to switch it up, I think using the Arfoid Gyroid is a good alternative. And right here we have Hamlet's house, and his neighbor is Stitches. So Hamlet's a jock, so I gave him some sporty items outside of his yard, and Stitches, I gave him some cute toys just to fit his whole vibe. Here we have a secret little Rossetti model. And if you keep going, we have Judy's house over here. And outside her house, just, cute and simple items. And if you're right here, you can get a nice view of the rock garden. Alright, let's go back down, and if you keep going, you might have seen this earlier. There's one more incline that leads back to the plaza, and I have these peach trees here. Again, my native fruit, gotta make sure I have enough of these. And let's go back down here and actually cross over this bridge now. At the bottom here, I have a secret hidden duck on the stepping stool. And when you cross this bridge, we're now in Coco's yard. So Coco's house is very pretty and natural, so she has the privilege of having her house by herself in this beautiful natural space that I created. I also have a picnic here with some bread, some bunnies so she can be with her own kind, and I love the arrangement of items I have right here. So I love this leaf campfire item with the marshmallows. It's super cute with the duck, with the flowers, with the garden rocks and the trees. I just think everything came together so beautifully. If we go down here and through this arch, we're now at the beach, and down here is the Tiki Juice Bar. This area is super cute, so tropical and fun with the colors. If we go over here, we are at the pier, so kept this simple, wanted to make sure Cap'n was still accessible. And this is Cap'n's side gig. When he's not giving boat tours, he'll catch fish and make fresh sushi every day here for whoever wants some. Let's go back through this arch, and this beach over here, again, just a typical beach, no theme really, just a bunch of beach chairs and sandcastle. And here we have these flamingos playing ball. I think that's really cute. And this leads to my peninsula. It's a very basic peninsula, just with a lighthouse, but sometimes basic is basic for a reason, because that is very nice. And around it, I don't have too much space, so just some natural items again. I especially love the way this garden gnome looks here. And let's go up through here. And on this beach rock, we have a painting area. I thought it'd be nice to have a painting area here. You can get inspired by the sunset or the ocean or just your own thoughts. And to be nice and peaceful, this stereo is playing KK Soul. I would give this a listen if you don't know what it sounds like. It's a pretty good one. If we go back down here, we have a small picnic with some fruit cupcakes. I just thought this item was so cute. I had to use it somewhere. And a go board and this hula lady. If you go further up here, I don't know what to call this, but a bonfire at the beach is something people do, right? So I included that and tried to tie it together with the other log furniture, and I think it came out good. I do want to mention that I love putting these insect models behind a bush, because the bush kind of covers that little plastic stem that it's on, since it's just a model, and it helps it look a little bit more realistic. So we're able to sneak by and go through these trees, but I also put some pathing here to indicate you can use this little walkway as well. And we've reached this final piece of beach right here. This is like a carnival fair play area. This cucumber and eggplant item are so funny and cute. So I'm glad I found a use for them somewhere. And just little, fun items that you might typically find at a park, I guess, but I put them here at the beach. A sandbox at the beach makes complete sense to me. And then back here, I can only fit one of the carnival items, but that's fine. I chose the Ferris wheel. I think it's probably the best and most fun one. You can get up here and see some viewpoints. And we have various flavors of popcorn as well. So that's my island. I really hope y'all enjoyed. I put so much time and effort and love into this island. Also, a lot of moments of sadness and stress at the beginning when I compared my island to others and felt like everyone else's islands were so much better than mine. I'm just happy that I finally got my island to a place I really love. If you're interested in seeing the progression of this island, I'll have a playlist linked below with speed builds of pretty much every area. I have made some small tweaks to some areas off camera when preparing and finalizing my dream address though. Also, all the codes I used are always in the description if you happen to be interested. But yeah, I think that's all for today's video. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed. I would really appreciate that. Let me know what your favorite area was, and if you visit my DA, I would love to know as well. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all next time. Bye!